So each lesson takes place through three key parts. The first part is learn, and I'll show you what students watch when they watch an instructional animation.
You probably hear and say things about fractions without even thinking about it.
We can each take a half.
Are we more than half the way home?
Half of my class are girls.
You know the words for 1/2, and you probably know what it looks like as a number. So why does a fraction number look like this? Here's how to think about it. In this picture, we'll use a fraction strip that represents one whole. Divide this whole equally into two pieces. How can we describe a piece of this size? It's 1/2. Each part of a fraction number has a name. This is the numerator. The line below it is the fraction bar. The 2 is the denominator. The denominator describes how a whole is divided into equal pieces. Here, the denominator of 2 tells you the whole is divided into 2 equal pieces. 1/2 here and 1/2 here. Let's go back to the numerator. The numerator tells the count of the equal pieces. Here, the numerator of 1 means we are counting one of the 2 halves. When a numerator is 1, we call that a unit fraction. These words are in the glossary anytime you want to review them. Unit fraction, denominator, numerator. Are you ready to find out more about unit fractions? Click the Go On button when you are ready. Let's see a whole fraction strip again. Here's 1/4 of this whole.
We are trying to use the best principles of universal design to also capitalize on aspects of technology that can allow the student to have more control over this instructional experience in the animations here. And so I'm going to show you a feature that we call play-by-play, which means that if a student really feels that the pace is going a little too fast for them, or they want to slow something down or go back and review, we've built in a lot of features to allow that. Now, I turned on a little feature here called the play-by-play, and this is going to let us see it.
A unit fraction is a building block.
Scene by scene.
The numerator tells us we are thinking about one piece. The denominator tells us the number of equal-sized pieces needed to make exactly one whole.
And there's instant replay on
The denominator tells us the number of equal-sized pieces needed to make exactly one whole.
And then you can return to the full
Exactly
play
4
mode.
1/4 make a whole. And 8 1/8 create exactly one whole. Let's name a unit fraction now by using a fraction strip. Let's find out how many equal pieces of this size are needed to make this whole. 16 of them. So you know the denominator must be a 16th. This piece is 1/16. Now, get ready to see some unit fractions and name the denominators yourself.
Get ready to practice. So the second aspect of each lesson is for students to do guided interactive practice.
Practice unit fractions. How many equal pieces of this size are needed to make one whole?
Here students are really making visual estimates of magnitude to understand the inverse relationship between the denominator and the size of an equal piece. Because one of the constant problems with fractions, when students see fractions in numerator or denominator, that they think of them as whole numbers. So 16 is greater than 4. But in the sense of fractions, a 16th, the unit fraction that's a 16th, is much smaller than a unit fraction that's a fourth. So this is how the content is carefully scaffolded. In this instance, there is a lot of very smart, carefully constructed feedback going on here, where that was a wrong choice, and we now show the student that 8 equal pieces go in. But let's say that there's still some confusion here, and there's an escalation here in what happens. So I just tried 1/4, and generally, the first level of support that we provide is just an encouragement to try again, because sometimes that's just what students need to recognize their mistake. Sometimes they now need to get a little bit extra information about how to answer. And sometimes they really need to just be able to get out of the problem. And part of this is all, by making mistakes, it's an opportunity to learn. And we're really supporting that pretty strongly in this whole practice experience. And you'll see that pattern repeated